Hey, welcome back to another exciting week of YOML, a year of magical learning. Today we're on book 107, and I'll keep the reflection title and make Chris do it.
You got it. Yeah, welcome back. Excited to be back. It's always a fun time to have a great conversation with you. So,
hmm
I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. The book that we're gonna be talking about today is called The Montessori Toddler. A Parent's Guide to Raising a Curious and Responsible Human Being by the author Simone Davies. I picked up this book because we have a toddler, and I like the whole Montessori methodology in general
hmm
for education. Are you familiar with the Montessori? You know,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
yeah. So for anybody that's not familiar out there with it, it's based off of the teachings of the educator named Dr. Maria Montessori, and it's very much so like getting kids a specific environment where they can learn on their own. They can explore on their own, but you kind of like put them in a box of your creation. So they're not necessarily like unlimited, potential to do whatever they want to do, but they're given like a framework that they can go do anything they want to go do within. So it's not necessarily you're gonna learn math today. We're gonna sit down and do your
Mm.
your your
Mm.
your multiplication tables. It's like we'll give you things you can go explore all over the place and you can go figure out, what you want to learn, basically. So it's more self-guided learning, I think, is kind of just the the gist of it for the most part. It's
hmm
kind of more, I think it's more humanistic approached learning, because that's how we typically learn. I don't think that we, learn in such formal settings very well, personally. But that was what's developed over time, probably because it was easier for society. But like as
hmm
anyway, we can get to the reflection here in general. But do you have any thoughts about the whole Montessori, world before we dive into it?
Yeah, I love that concept. I I think I wish I would have been, you know, placed in such kind of environment when I was growing up.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Honestly, we've been trying to make the reason why I read this book. I read this one with my wife, and we were. It teaches you how to like kind of not teaches you, but it helps you to kind of understand the Montessori methodology a little bit and how you can make your home, a little bit more structured and the stuff that you do with your own kids,
hmm
a little bit more Montessori esque. So our one of the things that we did in our house actually was we turned all the shelves that were um, I don't know, 3 feet and below kind of thing into like kids' play shelves. Because
hmm
he was going in and taking out all the decorations and all the little knickknacks, which I'm sure your kids always did as well.
Right.
And we just put them all into the storage bin and we replace them all with his toys and we change them out all the time. So he has like just like little toys that he can go, pick it up and explore. I mean, his favorite damn thing to do is to open up every cabinet anyway and pull out everything that he could possibly
hmm
pull out and just start chucking stuff. So we were like, look, if you're gonna do it, you might as well just do it for toys, So it's been pretty cool actually. He just walks over to the shelves and he throws everything off and plays with them, and
hmm
we put it back up there, and some now he's stacking his own stuff back up there. So
Right.
yeah, it's been a fun experience. But that said, on with the reflection. The reflection title was for this particular book that this made me think of is I want to be a Montessori adult. So this a lot of this reflection is about just kind of my ideas on education in general. So for my personal entire life up until I met Emilia, I mean I don't want to say that I had a weird relationship with learning. I love learning, but I also only ever saw it as like a formal setting thing. It was always either work trainings or college, courses or high school or whatever, the more of the formal education setting where you had homework, you had projects to do, you had all this, whatever crap you had to accomplish to be able to get a grade or whatever thing you had to accomplish. Um, you know, and I did it. Like, don't get me wrong, like I did it and I did it well and I always got good grades. But what I always really looked forward to was playing after I was done. Like it was like, oh, thank God I can get this stupid thing done that I don't want to do, but now I can go play right afterwards, right? Like that was always what made me so excited when I was a kid, and I got in trouble a lot because like I would get my work done really fast and I would get good grades, but then I would get yelled at because I was, disrupting other people and whatever. And,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like I was some sort of I'm not like a problem child, but, like they told my mom, obviously I was a problem child, right? Like they were like, if he didn't smile all the damn time and get good grades, we'd probably have, ground and put him in detention all day long, but he does, and he does. So we let it slide, but like it's disruptive, and I was always like, it's just me. I just want to go play, like what do you want? Like, anyway, so as time went on for me, like I feel like my relationship toward education, got a little worse. It became like the idea of learning to me became like an event. It's like, man, I really got to gear up for this. It's like this 2-day seminar, this 3-day seminar, or this semester long class, and this term paper that I got to go cram in for. I would get all the Red Bulls that I possibly could. When we had a 16-page case study to be done, I would go to the library at 7 o'clock in the night and not walk out until 6 a.m. in the morning, kind of thing, and then just crash the rest of the day. And I mean that stuff's exhausting. Like thinking of like learning that way, and every time I would think of it, that would be where my thought would go. Right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
this is just exhausting. Like I mean, I'll do it because I have to, but like I don't want to. Like like this isn't fun. So as time went on, and in my life, I mean, I would say my education, the things that I learned in general, became less and less and less, unless it wasn't like something that was thrown in my face, through human interaction, and I had to learn like on the job kind of learning stuff. I mean, the only for fun learning that I did was maybe like listen to a podcast every now and then, or like maybe watch a documentary or something along those lines. But it was sporadic at best, and it was, I don't know. There was no rhyme or reason. It was just like, I'm a little bored. I was going to listen to this podcast or something like that, right? So that all really changed for me personally after obviously Emilia was born, and our whole crazy experience that we all had together as a family. And as you've seen this whole entire journey with me, one of the things that that happened after we lost her was I was really confused. I had a lot of questions, and there wasn't some seminar to go to of, hey, you just lost your child, like what like here's a course you can go take or whatever on. I'm sure that maybe there is out there, but like I mean, if there is, like that's a joke, right? Because I mean, grief is whatever it is for everybody. So I had so many questions and no answers, and nobody to really turn to about these kind of things. So I started exploring on my own, and that exploration led to where we are today. Really, a lot of ways. That's kind of the kickstart of the Your Magical Learning experience. And fast forward when I wrote this reflection a few months back, it was I was probably already 200 books into this whole entire journey, and for me, I've discovered along the way that learning's a hell of a lot of fun. And not only is it a hell of a lot of fun, but I get to do it with my daughter. I get to do it in alignment with my purpose and my values, and it feels really good. So, I mean, not gonna lie, if some company or a school or an institution asked me to read 200 plus books and write a reflection on each one of them and then do a podcast for it, I would be like, I don't know how fast I would run away, but I would run away as fast as I possibly could in the other direction. I'd be like, I'm not doing that. That's insane. Like, I mean, I'm but when it's aligning with what I want to do and go exploring the stuff that I want to explore, it feels effortless, I mean, and learning really is truly a joy. So sum it all up, I feel like, this Your Magical Learning journey is kind of like being a Montessori adult. So something that, the big lesson I took from this is like, you can learn. It doesn't matter if you're an adult or a kid or whatever environment you're in. I mean, you have the ability to go be curious, learn what you want to learn, and explore the world around you, no matter how old you are. And you should never stop learning. So be a free range adult.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That was my thought on this one. So I'd love to pause there and get your thoughts.
I mean, I think I really love the concept of the Montessori workplace. I mean, as Dr. Montessori pioneered this concept, I mean, I think whether you're a child or an adult, when you're human after all, and
Yeah.
human, we're gonna have to want to explore. I don't know, that's the joy of being a human,
Yeah. It's
is
asking
to be able
questions.
to explore, right?
Yeah.
And like if somebody were to ask me, um read 200 books and do a podcast on it, the first thing will come to my mind is, okay, what kind of books are we
Right.
talking about? And then what kind of things do I talk about on it, right? And the problem with that is that big because we are conditioned and trained to do things that we don't want to do because
Yep.
for whatever reason, everybody wants you to do the same thing, right? And it's as if we are a machine, as if we have the same interests, as if we have
Right.
the same skills, as if we have the same talent. So you go to school, right? Everybody say, hey, you do the same thing. Whatever it is, standardized test, oh, you have low IQ. What the hell is that low IQ means, right? I mean, the IQ is
I don't, I don't know actually.
whoever say, okay, because I went this path, I'm going to say, if you can follow my path correctly and closely, then
You have a high IQ.
you are really high IQ. So
Right.
so imagine if a sloth, go back to the school with a bunch of animals again. Imagine if a sloth made the test. Then if you're not a sloth like, then you're not very high IQ per the
Right.
test, right?
Right.
If you have an elephant made the test, then if you not have a high IQ, that means just different from the elephant. But the thing is, people I got kind of frown upon you because you are not conforming to the masses.
Not only
It's
that,
it's
we
it's
like drug you now if you're not
yes,
conforming to the
yes,
masses. We say there's something wrong with you, and here's a pill, go fix it. Like
yes. You have to conform, otherwise you are not. Just like when you say, if you're good at what you do, right, and you have good grades because you did something, you understood something faster, and then the rest of the class is still trying to struggle, but you still have to sit there and like can't do anything. You have to slow down to allow to be with the class who is slow, right?
right,
So you can't be, and then they call you disruptive. You call you the
right,
troublemaker just
right.
because, right? Because the thing is, I finished my task and I'm doing something else. I'm doing things that
What I wanted to
interests
do.
me, right?
Right, I know.
But the thing is, you're being say, hey, no, that's bad. So
Yeah,
you've been conditioned to throw away your identity and
yeah,
to
you're right.
take on and put on a mask. That's why a lot of people, I mean, a whole lot of people on Earth right now is living somebody else's life. It's not their life that they're living. They're living
Right.
somebody else's life to say that because they are doing exactly what society tells them. This is how you should be. This is how you should behave. This is how you should act. This is how you should, present yourself. And that's to me, that's the travesty of all this. It's just because, I mean, just like, hey, Chris, you and I are exactly alike. You and I have the exact same DNA. We have exact same interests, right?
Right.
What's fun to you is also fun to me.
That sucks.
That is the doctrine that everybody say, hey, that's the way the world works, and
Right.
millions and billions of you have to conform to the same standards, same ideals, and whatever. And who create the ideals? Well, just some idiot that say, hey, I decided how I float throughout my life. That's the path, and
Right.
I document the path now. Everybody should follow, right?
Right.
So to me, that's a travesty of it, and to me, it's just so much. It feels like a chore when you have to do some of these things. I mean, for me, it's like I mentioned from the beginning. I wish I was put into this environment when I was early, because early in my youth, right, I am a rebellious kind of kid.
Right.
I rebel against everything, and I don't like to learn, right? I don't like to learn. So the thing is, people say I'm pretty much a dumb kid. I mean, I just not normal. I'm
Right.
that kid. It's like, hey, the kid you left behind in school. And the thing is, because of that, people would label me as this, dumb or
Right. Not
stupid
worth your
and
time or something.
borderline retarded. You know what I mean? So the thing is, if you think about from that perspective, right? Everything I had to do was a chore, and I always rebel against the things I do, and
Yeah.
that's why up until like college, even beyond that, right? I didn't learn a lot, just because for me, doing the learning was a reminders of these drudgery, in my head about the things that I just hated to do, so I don't do them. But it turns out, after college and when I start to explore, and even after I met you, I realized that I really love to learn for
Yeah, I
the
know,
sake
right?
of
Like,
learning, but
it's
not
just sad.
right. And so that is so sad, as I miss out on so much of my years
Yeah.
of exploration. Because the thing is, it's the same thing that you and I did. It's like I was so rebellious against the institutions and all the things that people made me do, but I go and explore everything. Man, I'm very like hands-on, right? I fiddle with my with my hands, and I touch things. I can take whatever I see, I can copy it really
Right.
fast, right? Because I was able to, you know, tinker with it. I'm a very good tinker. So I was a troublemaker because I go out there and I will break stuff. Like I would, whatever it is, I'll break it, right? Because the thing is, I'm so curious. But that's the thing is, I was a troublemaker when I was growing up. I was a I was a bad kid. I was the dumb kid, right? In school, like in my country, right? I have no future. Like in my country, it's like you have to adhere to all these rules and regulations and whatnot. If you do that, then you have high grades and whatnot. And then
Right.
if you don't, then you would rank, last in your class and you don't get to graduate. But for me, is I always do things that is like I don't care if anyone's doing it. I'm rebel against the institutions. I rebel against any kind of structure just
Don't
because
we all though? Isn't that just natural human tendencies to like
it
to
is
say
it
like,
is to
because
certain.
we're 90% chimp, right? I mean,
Yes,
like we're like we are individual. We are very individualistic and creative, beings in general. To like to make us all be little bees, like you said, the sloth of the school. To like to look at all the
right,
tigers and lions and giraffes sitting around there and being like, all right,
yes,
everybody, we're all gonna be penguins, and
right.
we're all like, fine,
I think everybody
whatever.
has some sort of a individualistic view on that, and they want to be unique and they want to explore their own interests. The problem is that some of the some of us, excluding me, because I don't want to include myself in this group, but some of us are much smarter. And when we're smarter, we say, well, I have to be considerate. So
Right.
I'm going
I'll be
to
I'll be nice.
acquiesce.
Right.
I'll follow the rule, and
Right.
that's the problem, right?
Yeah, you're
Because
right. I mean,
I was so dumb, right? That I didn't even think about it. Actually, I don't care. I don't care what I look. I
right.
don't care if it it makes my parent mad. I don't care if it brings shame to my household. The thing is, I don't know enough to affect me. But if you have a smart kid, right? Say, yeah, well, I don't want my parents to be ashamed of me. And then, so the thing is, sometimes, like you say, it's ignorance is bliss in
Yeah,
some
yeah.
cases. And
Oh
in this
yeah.
case, because I was so dumb that I don't know those, right? And
You
so I was
weren't
able to
dumb. Like you
rebel.
weren't you wait, you were not
Well,
dumb. You were
dumb on the standard book, on the
yeah,
standard
maybe
of life.
fair. All right, fair. In terms of what society may have said, then maybe yes. But in reality, obviously you're the same person as you were before. So you were never dumb. You just weren't doing what you wanted to do. Like I mean, like this, it's sad. You know what the saddest thing is corporate America isn't much different than
It's actually worse.
it is worse. I mean, because like they don't even pretend to train you for anything other than or even like I guess at least education gives you a more balanced, well-rounded. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but like corporate America is like they just stop teaching you. They're like, screw it, I don't care. Like the only thing you're going to learn is
Well,
what
the
we
thing
need you to
is,
learn for this job.
in corporate America, they're just gonna try to squeeze as much out of you from to make the profit as much as possible. It's
Yeah,
well, as long as you can get them those profit, it's gonna squeeze all the sweat and tears and blood out of you.
man,
That
it's so depressing to think about sometimes how much, like you said, like I love to learn, like I really do, and I've always loved to learn, but it was like it sucked the life out of me to do it the way that other people told me to do it. Like here's the funny thing is like I was just right before this, I'm taking this like leadership development course or whatever through Salesforce or whatever. So they have all these like classes, you do online classes, and we get together as a discussion group to talk about it and blah 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 blah. Well, I love the discussion groups because they're fun, open conversations with my peers. I hate the online assessments where they give you a scenario and then you have to pick from like 10 like 4 or 5 different choices or whatever it is, of like A, B, C, D of, Steve did this, like, how should you handle blah blah blah, and then they'll rank your score or whatever, and I'm like, I actually get physically mad because I'm like, I don't fucking there is no right answer to this question. Like, there is 0 right answers to this question. Exactly. I don't care. Like, I mean, it blows my mind to even think that somebody was like, there needs to be 5 choices to fucking put on this thing that I'm teaching you. Like, this is the right way to be, and I'm like, no, like, I mean, it could be anything. I mean, I'm way smarter than. How about Steve and I go spend maybe the answer is Steve and I leave the job for 2 months and we go take a sabbatical and we go, wander around the world together, find an answer, and come back or something. I don't fucking know. Like, I mean, it could be the dumbest thing. I mean, why not? Like, I mean, why does there have to be wrong? 5? It is wrong. I mean,
the sad part is that it is how leadership are being made. Is if you somehow score like closely to however this person made up the test, then you shall be this leader, the potential leader, right? Right. You handle conflict well or whatever. It's like, if somebody spit on your mother's face, what should you do? A, I think about it, that he has a bad day. B, maybe he didn't understand.
Right.
C, you punch him in the face, and then B, you sit him down and you
talk about the consequences and explain the why, and I mean,
bunch of bullshit like that. Right, it's like, if you do that, I'll punch you in the face, right? And I will make sure that you will never even have the thought of doing it again, right? It will send you back to the days when there is no way out. I mean, I will send your thought into this the black hole. Right. That's how I would do it, right? And if I were to say that, right, then I'm the guy who is the crazy and psychos out there. Exactly. Exactly. But if you said, he has a bad day, I need to sit him down and talk to him and give him candy, make sure he does, whatever this bullshit. I'll give him therapy. No, fuck, back in the 70s, right? People don't need therapy. I mean, you're talking about people like die in concentration camps. People get tortured. They don't need therapy. But for some reason, you need therapy just because, hey, I think somebody said something bad about me. I need therapy. And that's the saddest part. It's like, you're turning these people into these.
You do need therapy. It's called learning. Go learn something. Like, go find your answers. If you like, when you feel depressed, that means you have a lot of questions, right? You have a lot of questions building up inside of you. When you feel lost, that means you have.
I think I think if you are depressed, you are lost because you're doing things that is not yours.
And you have questions that are building up that you just turn off. Like, you're like, I'm not even gonna get. I'm just
because you are numb. You are numb to this thing. It's like, let's say, okay, true, Chris, I need you to each read 200 books and put together a podcast, right? But none of the books is what the books I like, and none of the talking points is what I want to talk about. Then I become numb, and then becomes a chore and a drudge of a task for both of us.
If you gave me an assignment after each one of these and said, what did you learn about the Montessori toddler? And I was like, I don't know this. And they're like, no, that's not the answer. The answer is this, or this, and I'm like, no, I learned that I want to be a Montessori adult. And they're like, no, that's not what
that's
you're
wrong.
supposed to learn here. It is either this, or this. And you're like, well, this is boring. Like, I don't care anymore. Like, I mean, like, I don't,
then the more you do it, the more you get lost. And the more you get lost, the more depressed you will be.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's
just like depression. Depression is whenever you're doing something that you're living someone else's life.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I mean,
it doesn't matter what we do. I mean, the thing is, a lot of things that interest us has nothing to do with money, fame, or anything like that. Because, you just do because, it feels like, it's the right fitting thing that you're made to do.
Right.
So for me, it's like when you are depressed, It's when you are doing something that has no interest, you have no interest in. And that's the bad part, because
Right.
no one in society is advocating the Montessori workplace. There is a
No,
Montessori for a kid, but like you're talking about a very young kid, and then after, even after the quote unquote the Montessori age of, under, I think it's like under teen, right? It's not teen, it's like
I,
under,
I'm not
after,
sure when it cuts off technically in terms of like some formal education or not form, whatever the, the Montessori. I don't know. Maybe there's Montessori high schools. I don't know. I mean, but I really don't
well,
know the
then I
answer.
don't think
Yeah.
Montessori high school, it's Montessori anymore. In from the spirit, the concept of
Right.
Montessori learning, right? Montessori learning, it reminds me a whole lot about the movie Accepted,
Yeah.
South
Yeah. Yeah.
Common Institute of
Yeah. Sorry.
Technology,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That's,
I mean,
that's
I think
shit.
that's,
Shit.
I mean, to me, that's where you had fun. That's
Yeah.
where we had fun, because in college, right? They kind of let you free. You know what I mean? You
Yep.
think about it. In college, they kind of let you do whatever you want to do. They
Kind of.
I say
They
kind of.
they give you some curriculum, and then they say you have to take these courses, like that I don't maybe necessarily like, but they're like these are the prerequisites for the first 2
Right.
years.
But like
Then
I
they give you a
say,
little bit of freedom, like your junior and your senior year, that you can maybe take a few courses. That actually Econ 368, was one
mhm.
of my my philosophy and economics class that we talked about, which was ironically one of my favorite classes that I've ever taken in a formal education experience, because there was damn near no curriculum. It was just, here's a topic. What do you all think about it? And then that's it.
Yep.
Like, and
And
you're
that's the
like,
most
huh?
memorable and the most interesting part of it, your life, right? And that's
Right.
because
I
you,
remember
it
it today.
allows you're allowed to follow your interest, whatever interests you. You want to talk about whatever you want to say, you say, right? There's not like,
Yeah.
oh, you have to rate, 250, you know, 100 word essay about, how something affects society, blah, 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 economic,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. It's like, whatever I don't have any interest in how it impact, or how you would take that and do something with it. Whatever I
Right.
don't care about it. Whatever I just want to talk about fungi, right? Why can't I talk about fungi? Right. So the problem is that we all know, and we all have agreed and accepted that every single one of us is unique. And because
Yeah.
of our uniqueness, we have a vast different interests. Therefore, the
100%.
institution that tells you to do a certain way in a massive standardized, right, path isn't aligning. There's a completely misalignment right here. It is a blaring like misalignment that is like right at your face. So
You know,
to me, that is the saddest part of our society, is that only a teeny silver of a Montessori for the kid is actually existed today, and even for among the kids, it is a minority.
right. Oh yeah. I mean, massive minority. I mean, most,
My
I would say
massive no
90,
no. It's
90, at least in America, 99% of kids go to, formal, like even if you're going to a private school, it's still the same
I mean,
format,
I
I mean,
would,
it's
I would even, be confident in saying, you start your kid out, at Head Start, right? It's called brainwashing, right? It
right.
heads from Head Start, which is like 3 years old. You
Right.
start to brainwash them, because
Well,
you are telling these kids, right? Oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to, man. Oh no, you can't do that. You
yeah,
can't
I
have the
mean,
cookies. You can't have
we're
the
teaching
marshmallow.
them for
You
sure.
you taking them from third, like a 3-year old, right? A 4-year old, you go to pre-K, and then kindergarten, 5-year old, you go, and then up until you get. I mean, I don't think you can even get out of it. I
Well,
mean, because
you're teaching
you
them to be
go
able
to
to sit at a
college,
cubicle for 8 hours a day. You know what I mean? And to be okay with it. Like, I mean, like that's like, if you actually think about it, like it's insane what we do. Like, we ship our kids. These are your children. These are your fucking kids. Like, my purpose in life. I would give anything to spend any amount of time with Emilia if I could, all day, every day. And I love spending time with Luca, and I love being around him. Thank God I can work from home these days. But like, think about this concept of you take your kids, your pride and joy, the things that you probably care the most about in this world if you're a parent, and you ship them off for 9 hours a day, and then you come back home and you can see them for like I don't know. Some people only see them for like 30 minutes, maybe. Some people never even see their kids, like because you had to go somewhere else to follow the rules you've been taught your entire life to do something that just blows my mind how unhuman it is. Like in terms of like
I mean,
what
we're
you're doing.
machines. We're just machines, robots, or
It's
whatever
sad.
you want to call that. We're not humans, and it goes against human behavior. Human is like you cannot have any joy unless you have the sake of like finding new things, discover new things. It's exploration in us that
Yeah,
makes us humans.
exactly.
If you
And
do the
doing it with
same
people you
thing,
love too. Like, I mean, I want to explore with my kids. Like, I want to explore with people that I like. Like, I want to explore with you, and like go through topics like this. Like, I don't want to explore with my coworker that I don't give a shit about, and they don't give a shit about it. And neither one of us want to be in this place because neither one of us give a shit about this place. Like, I'm sure they're
right?
a good person, but like, I don't want to do this with you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, sometimes you just don't jive, right? I mean, you don't jive. It has not. I mean, it's no one's fault. It's just that you're just different. You have different interests. You have
right.
different way of accepting, praise and critiques and whatnot. You just have a different way of doing it. And so, whoever is sending you the wavelength that is acceptable to you, that's the guy. That's the person that you have more bond with, more wavelength with, and then it's gonna make you feel more enjoyable just
Meaningful.
because
It's meaningful.
it is.
Yeah. It's meaningful
and and
relationships.
and the thing is, to think that everybody is treated to be the same way, well, to me, that's the biggest mistake that we've made. Like I said, I would have wished I was in this kind of environment, because I am really that kind of guy, because I don't like to, I mean, like I said, when I was younger, regardless of what people do, I don't actually look at the crowd for what they do and follow the crowd. I just do my own thing, regardless whether I look like I can eat it or not. I just do them, right?
Right.
I don't like um I don't like to kind of follow the crowd, because for whatever reason, it just I don't agree with.
Yeah,
It's
man,
not that I
it
don't want to
stifles your
agree with. It's
creativity.
just that I just don't agree with, because that's the way I was made, right? Whether I'm wrong or not, it doesn't matter. It's just that it
You're
feels
elephant.
like I could not agree with it, so I don't agree with it, right?
Right.
Rather than I would rather be rebellious than to comply, because it make me feel better to be rebellious than to comply. It makes me feel bad if I comply, right?
Right.
And it's not like I wanted that. I was made that way. I
I
mean,
agree.
it's not like I choose it. Hey, I decided, I will feel better if I be rebellious, and I
So
will.
hang on, I want to make an important timeout point here of we're not saying that you don't need other people. You definitely do. You'll naturally find other people. Like when you're in a Montessori educational system and you like to play with Legos and building castles, somebody else might also have that same interest or whatever, and you
Yeah,
guys
I mean,
make
some
friends
people
together and
don't
you
like to
bond
play
over.
with Legos, and then whoever likes to play Lego gets together and form the Lego group. And
Right.
somebody who likes to play with dirt, well,
For
they're
the dirt
going to
group.
go and dig dirt and make,
Right.
cast out of mud. I mean, the thing is,
We
who's to tell which one is wrong, which one's right? It's just, hey, I have an interest in here. Whoever has the same interest, come along. That's it. I mean,
exactly.
it's the attractions of the commonalities, the attraction of whoever have the similar interest, and they get together and say, hey, okay,
I've
because we do enjoy doing these things, right? You both have the same interest, but asking me to go and play Legos if I don't have an interest in Legos, or I don't have any
yeah.
propensity for putting things together, right? If that's that kid, right? How would I be able to fit in? And even if I try to
You're
fit
not.
in,
They give you Ritalin or they give you something else, and they're like, here, you have attention deficit disorder. You're like, no, I just don't like fucking Legos. Like, I don't have attention. This is not what I want to put
I
my
just love
attention toward.
Legos. I just love Lego. That's that much. No, can't. So they give you this drug. So, oh, I'm numb from Lego, or they give you some kind of like a PTSD to against a Lego, so that you don't
Right.
You don't play with Legos too much.
And you're like, okay, I guess I'm like you said earlier, I guess I'm stupid. I guess I'm just an idiot that, that likes
No,
these Legos,
it's not only that you're
Uh,
guessing, they're telling you.
yeah, right.
They're
That's
telling
right.
you you
You're right.
dumb.
There's something wrong with you. There's something wrong
Yes.
with you. You can, yeah, like, and
Yeah.
like, so,
See,
and,
why are you so dumb, right? It's not like you know how to guess. They will tell you, and then other kids will actually tell you as
yeah,
well.
right. Yeah, yeah.
So like I say, it's not something that you have to even think about.
You're right. Yeah.
They'll say
I
it
mean,
for you.
you know what this thought keeps popping in my head of, um, this journey that we're on, right? Like, and we're on, I think I wrote this morning, what did I write? To 238. This morning I finished reflection to shit, where'd it go? This morning I finished reflection 238, right? And we're on 106 or whatever it is, 107.
107.
And like, if you were to try to recreate this journey, like whatever comes out of it, whatever the meaningful work, clubbing, whatever it is, if you were to literally try to, even back through these books and what we're doing and going back through this journey, I bet you the odds are like 1 in like trillions upon trillions upon trillions of all the books in the world, of all the ideas that could pop into my head and that we could share and to write down and to have go through this conversation together, and then the discussions that came out of it, and then the ideas that ultimately in actions that get driven off of it. Like it's probably impossible. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's not, nothing's impossible. There's probably the smallest possible chance in the world that you could ever recreate this journey. Once this is finished, like there's you could never recreate this ever again.
And that's the beauty of it. Is like every single thing, every single person, like no single person have ever existed in human history has exactly the same DNA combinations as another person,
or lived experiences. Like, I mean, like, I don't care
exactly. And
like,
because that's the vast combinations and permutations, right?
Right.
That nothing can be repeated. Like I say, Steve Jobs cannot be Steve Jobs.
Right.
Steve Jobs can only be Steve Jobs in that time, in the time that he was born. Let's say Steve Jobs was born 1 minute later or 1 minute earlier, right? It's a different Steve Jobs.
Right.
It cannot be Steve Jobs again, right? And that's what I'm saying is I don't care what people are saying, right? It is never ever going to be exactly the same. It's always different because a single change, a single differences create a vast result that is completely far away from what you expect.
I mean, if Emilia was still here, I could almost guarantee that we would not be having this conversation.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that I'm not saying I want to trade that off. Like I'm not saying that like I want her to not be here so I don't have to have this. So I'm, like I don't. It's just two different worlds. Like, I mean, like I didn't have any say over. I mean, I guess I do. I don't know. It's a really complicated scenario, and I really struggle even talking about it, to be honest with you, because like I don't really want to go down this road, but at the same time, like it's I could probably guarantee you that we're not talking to each other right now if my daughter's still here. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying that it's just
right. It's just we're just stating the fact that there are so many possibilities that even a small infinitesimal change will cause a new, completely different outcome just because.
And that's the black swan, right? I mean, like it's you don't know when it's happening, when it's going to come, when it's not. It's what I call an atomic bomb. It's what I call whatever. I mean, there's a million different things you want to call it, but at the end of the day, you're right. Like, everybody's unique. Everybody's learning journey is unique. Like, stop trying to make everybody learn the same way and learn the same shit. Like, I mean, it's like, let them explore and learn their own. That's what clubbing is supposed to be about. So to be fair to this whole conversation, I know we've been ranting a little bit about this whole entire thing. Like, we do have a solution that we're trying to work toward. Like, just so everybody's clear, like, we're not just up here, what really grinds my gears, about education, blah, blah, blah. No, like we are trying to solve this problem where we can give people the opportunity to build, to do meaningful work and to be around meaningful and to build meaningful relationships with other people surrounding living their values together and what we like to call clubbing. And we're trying to do all this together to create like a Montessori workplace, basically, where you don't have a job, you get hired and you get a scholarship and you get to go just explore and go do what you want to do. And whatever you start to create, you'll naturally bounce around in this little clubbing culture universe, and you might end up connecting with the dude that loves Legos, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, True, you love Legos, I love Legos, like this is crazy, I've been learning about Legos for the past year and a half and I thought I was nuts, but like, oh, it turns out True loves Legos too,
Yeah.
like what can we do together, like and that's when the meaningful work then becomes a commerce product that you can do. Like people underestimate so much. Like, I mean, think about me right now at Salesforce, think about all the stuff that we're doing, think about how underutilized I am there. And I'm not saying that because I'm saying that I'm somehow some great, all powerful being or whatever. Like that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that there's so much more that I'm capable of contributing toward any organization or any group that I want to belong to if I want to be there. Like I mean,
Right.
and that's the problem. Is like I don't. It's not that I don't. It's not that I'm trying to quit my job or something along those lines. But I don't want to. I don't want to do that, like that's not what
Mm-hmm.
I want to do. What I want to do is, like you said, is I want to go play Legos or whatever, maybe. Like I don't I
Right.
want to go read 200 plus books and write reflections about it and try to help other people, encourage them to take their own journey and figure out their own thing. And not only that, to top like cherry on top of my rant would be like, I don't even want people to do the same journey that I'm on. Like I don't care if you try to recreate your magical learning when this thing's all over. I don't want you to do that. Like I literally I don't at all. Like I mean, I want you to go do your own thing, and that may be something completely. I don't want it to be the same thing that I'm doing, like I mean, like
Right.
or that we're doing. Like I mean, I don't want that. Like that's not the goal of this. Like the goal of it is just to spark a thought in your head, and you go do whatever you go do with that thought, and go explore whatever you want to go explore with that thought. Like that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like I said before, only you will know what it is enjoyable for you, right? So it cannot be somebody else's journey, right? Or for you to enjoy it, you have to follow your interest, whatever the interest is. Because, like I say, I didn't choose it. I didn't choose to say, hey, I just feel it make me feel better to be rebellious against the things I disagree with. And
Right.
why do I disagree with it? I don't know why. I just do. It just makes me mad when I was told to do things that, I mean, it's not like I disagree with them at every single thing, right? But most of what they do, I disagree with because my brain is processing things different, right? And for whatever reason, those thoughts when it enters my head, the way I process it, I disagree with. And when I disagree with, and if I were to do the things I disagree with, I have a very like a icky feeling or whatever that feeling is, that it's not
Yeah.
fun or not,
It's called
and
disgust.
or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
It's a feeling of I don't want that feeling anymore. So like I said, I didn't choose a feeling and I didn't choose to disagree. I just do disagree because I was processed as my brain processed information in a certain way, and I just disagree. And
Right.
that's just a fact that no matter what I do to cover it up, it's not gonna go away, right? And
Right.
so if I continue to pressure it down and to continue to put a lid on it, eventually it's gonna explode just because it's so much pressure. So for so long, eventually it's going to explode, or or it's going to make me implode, and I become this depressed person,
Right.
or
And
this
then you get a
cycle.
benzo. Yeah.
Right, I either get depressed, well, I become postal, right?
Right.
It's,
Or you get a Valium or a benzo or an Xanax or something. You go to the doctor and that's where they're like, well, here you
what
go.
even, I
Let's
mean, I
mellow
mean,
you out. Like
I mean,
just
even I mean, the
docile
thing
you.
is, I mean, ask you this question then. Even if you get these Xanax or these whatever pill that they give you, okay, what happened afterward?
Nothing changes. All you do is just tolerate the
That's my
environment
point.
just a
It's
little
not
less
like it's not
better,
like
a
the
little
pill
more better.
fixes anything. That
Right. No.
person is still depressed, and then
Right.
whenever the medicine it wears off or you need more, then it just you're just in a worse place than before.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean,
Right? And so
it doesn't
like I
solve
say,
anything.
the solutions to these pills is not even a fix. It actually makes it worse. You just temporary like disconnected that person from being anything.
From having emotions that are saying, hey, address this, think about this, like explore this, like instead we go, oh my God, I have emotions, like get it to go away, like like go away, go away, go away. And you're like, no,
Yes.
like when you have them,
I mean,
like
the
you
thing
said,
is, the
embrace it,
people who
like
are on these
go
pills,
explore it.
right? They don't actually recover, and when they are they're lapsing, once they lapse, right? They are so depressed that more of these people that is on these drugs are more likely to commit suicide.
Yeah, I mean,
So
because
it's not,
it feels like there's no way
it's not
out,
fixing it. It's not
right?
fixing it at all. So that means like getting the pill isn't even helping in a slightest bit. It's just delaying the fact, just pushing the pressure until one day when you slip up and medicine doesn't work no more, or you get numb by the medications, right? Then whenever you wake up from it, then you're in a much worse place, and this is when it's a no turning back kind of event.
Right. It's sad. I mean, it really is sad. And I want to fix it, and you want to fix it, and we want to fix it. Like we want to build a Montessori workplace, and we want to make other people, not make other people. We want to give other people the opportunity to do what we're doing and to do it together, and to build a culture around people being 90% chimps and 10% bees. Like, like, I mean, like we want you to be your full unique self, or 90% of your full unique self, because we do need, one of the other human superpowers that we have is our ability to connect and to work together, right? Like, I mean, so you still need that environment, and that is important, so
Right.
fully embrace being a human, basically an environment where you can fully embrace being yourself,
Yeah, it has
and
to
all
be a
that goes with it.
balance, right? It has to be a balance because you have both the best of both worlds, right? You can be individual and you can work together, right? That's now the power, the superpower of being a human. And people, nowadays are wanting everybody to be like bees, right? So you're giving away your individuality and your self-interest for the common good of the whole group,
Right.
right? So it has both in pros and cons, but if you have the balance, you get the best of both worlds. And why
Right.
wouldn't you want the best of both worlds? So I say you have to have your individual interest, but also have the community as well. Not just one or the other. Why do we have to choose between be a loner or being with a community, right?
Right.
And like I say, it's not the extremes. You don't go to the extremes. Say, hey, everybody does their own thing, and then or everybody does everything the same way.
Right. It's both. It's
It goes
we
back.
could
It go back to having
be
the
a
right
human.
balance.
Right. Yeah. Be a balanced human being. I
Right.
couldn't agree more. Awesome. Well, that was a fun topic. I mean, I don't know if you have any other final thoughts on it, but I feel like I'm purged.
Yeah. Yeah.
So awesome. So the question then when we can lead for everybody is, when was the last time that you learned something because you wanted to, not because somebody else told you to learn it, or because it was an assignment, or don't say, yeah, I went to go become a pharmacist. Well, even then, like, you're still learning stuff that you could probably become a pharmacist just
Right.
by picking up a book and slowly learning on your own. I mean, so just the question is just like, when was the last time you learned something just because you wanted to,
right.
and why did you stop?
And don't make excuses. When I retire, I'm gonna do this. When I retire, I'm gonna do that, because that's a lame excuse.
Right. You can do it now. You can do it all, and you can have fun. So
Yeah.
so get out there and enjoy your life. Be a free range adult, and have some fun.
Yeah, and check out Company.
Yeah. Let us know if you want a scholarship. Because we're paying people $80,000 a year to join our Montessori workplace. So it's not only a place where you can be yourself, but you actually get paid for it too. So sounds
But it's
pretty
not
appealing.
easy. It's not easy to get in.
No. You got to read 200 plus books and write to produce a podcast, and we'll give you the lesson for each book. And if you don't get it right, then you're out. No, I'm kidding.
Nah.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Sounds good. Bye.